We just got out of Lights Out, and Glenjamin Button wants to take care of this one, so tell me how you really feel.
It told me not to breathe, so I'm trying not to.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, this movie was, I didn't like it.
Well, that was fast.
I don't know how else to say it. The best part about this movie for me was Stephen Lang.
Same here.
Yeah.
Cinematography.
Cinematography, me. It was all right at certain points, but they were like too jumpy on a lot of things, and then they made items in the house way too obvious that they were going to use them in the future instead of like hinting at them.
Yeah.
They were just like, look at this. It's a hammer. Look at this. It's something you can use in the future.
It was very obvious. Like, it didn't have much trust in its audience, where
No.
it just told us exactly what was going to happen, like, a good 20 minutes before it was even going to happen.
Mhm.
It was just like, hey. It was very...
Or like half the movie,
yeah,
period.
which made it very predictable.
Yeah.
And everything I saw, like, all the critics were just like, oh, it's such a good twist. It's such a good twist. Except for, they show the twist.
Right in the beginning of the movie.
No, in the trailer.
Oh, that too.
In the trailer, I'm gonna spoil it because it's in the trailer, so apparently it's not a spoiler. The girl locked up in the basement.
Oh, that's a twist.
Oh, that's a twist. It seems like the blind guy's not so innocent after all.
No way.
Oh, just because he's blind doesn't mean he's a sight, bro.
That character I hated so much.
I hated all the characters.
I hated everybody but Stephen Lang, except for one scene that we didn't need. Well,
Yeah.
It was just a really weird freaking scene.
There was this one scene where it seemed like halfway through writing it, they were just like, this blind guy is way too justified right now.
Let's just make him really freaking weird.
Let's make it really weird.
Yeah.
And throw something out of left field that kind of makes sense, but also is a stretch. This part bothered me. It's really stupid. There's this part where they get a bunch of money, and like originally they think it's like 300,000. When they're getting the money, one guy goes like, "Oh man, that looks like it's over $1 million," when it very obviously isn't $1 million. I haven't seen $1 million, but I've seen $10,000 in ones, which would be the same as $1 million in $100 bills. And there is no way in hell that no matter what increments that cash is, that it was $1 million.
And they even said like early in the movie, oh, he's probably sitting on like $300,000. That would make more sense than him being like, oh, that's $1 million. It's gotta be.
Like just say that it was the amount that you said in the beginning. You don't need to. You don't need to raise the stakes by saying it's $1 million when it obviously is not
so
$1
much
million.
He must have invested.
There was
that
not
$300.
$10,100 bills there.
Parts I think they didn't utilize very well was the silent scenes where Stephen Lang's character is kind of just trying to hone in on where everybody's at.
Yeah.
And there was the part in the basement that they show in the trailers where it's just like night vision. I thought that was a really cool scene, and then they were like, let's just end this on a really stupid note.
Yeah. Going, kind of adding on to what he said about that, it felt like all the silent scenes were just trying to get to the next line of dialogue.
If the whole movie was like the silent scenes, this movie would have been far and beyond better for me.
Yeah, you don't need dialogue to have a good movie.
Oh, and about the silent scenes, like, while the silent scenes are happening, they even, like, when they're whispering to each other, they're like this. They're like this really loud whispering instead of, hey, we need to do this. And, like, I know that's a terrible example, but, like, they were really loud.
They weren't
loud
trying
whisperers.
to be quiet.
No, not at all. Not throughout
Even
the whole
when they weren't
movie.
talking, they weren't trying to be quiet.
When they were trying to, like, sneak past the guy, like, they'd be, like, really loud and shuffling and moving items, which, why would you do that?
And the characters were really dumb. The main characters who were the house robbers, they chose, money over their lives every single time. Like, there's one logical character in it.
The dude who was in Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
Is he in Ghostbusters?
Yeah, he was the kid. Was that the kid? The kid next door to the girl? Or not Goosebusters. Wow, Goosebumps.
Yeah, the guy from Goosebumps.
Wow, I'm so sorry.
What are you talking about? But he was the only logical one. And anytime he was just like, hey, let's, leave this money behind and live, they were like, no, we need this money. Another thing was all the hype about this movie is like how different and game changing this was for horror movies. And it was just like every other horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't anything special about it.
Nope.
Everything I had seen.
It had the potential to be like a better horror movie, but they didn't do it. They didn't do it at all.
They did not.
And I was upset because it looked really good.
I actually went into this one. I even told Glenn before. I was just like,
He
after
did.
the first trailer I saw, I thought it was going to be really stupid. And then the more I saw in TV spots, I was just like, oh, this is actually starting to look pretty interesting. But then it turns out they showed everything in the TV spots. Talking about the beginning of the movie, they start off with robbing a completely different house.
Yep.
And the douchebag guy who's just like, just because he's black doesn't mean he's a saint, bro, starts. To me, it looked like he was masturbating.
He did, and then
it also kind of looked like he was peeing. But either
he
way,
was peeing unless he just had a lot of sperm.
Either way, he's spreading DNA around.
Yeah, robbers should know why. And she even laid on a bed, and so that's like hair follicles are gonna be everywhere.
These are the worst robbers in the world. The only smart one was the guy, the
guy from Goosebumps.
The guy from Goosebumps. To summarize, it's just a bunch of stupid people doing stupid things in a stupid way.
It's another dumb horror movie with stupid characters.
Stephen Lang was the only good part about it.
Stephen Lang,
It was. I know you asked me what you rated Lights Out.
I had to clarify what I rated Lights Out.
I thought this was better than Lights Out, but still could have been a lot better. It did not match its potential at all.
No.
So I'm gonna give this. I'm gonna go with even 5 out of 10. It had a lot of good parts. The cinematography, Stephen Lang, they saved this movie and made it bearable to me. The rest of it, like the protagonist, I didn't give a shit about the protagonist. That's the thing about horror movies. Most horror movies, you don't care about anyone in it.
Nope.
And you need to care in order to feel fear. The entire time I was just like, just kill them already. Like, just shoot them. And I don't like thinking that about human beings, but they were really just terrible people.
A lot of characters lasted longer than they should have,
Yeah.
in my opinion, and it kind of just dragged out the movie.
Yeah, so I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10.
For me, I'm going to give it like a 3.5.
3.5?
3.5, mainly because Stephen Lang, the cinematography was pretty good for most of the parts. But man.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to let you do this. I'm going to go back to not breathing.
Okay, well, in that case, thanks for watching that. If you've seen Don't Breathe, I keep calling it Lights Out. If you've seen Don't Breathe, comment down below what you thought of it. Over there is our last week's review for Ben-Hur. And over here is, what should it be? Suicide Squad spoiler review. Glen's Suicide Squad spoiler review. There's that.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Oh, right. Below our faces are Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Follow us on that.
Comment section.
Well, I already said the comment section. There's a like and dislike and a subscribe button. Hit those in whatever way you want.
I can't do it. Okay. I tried.
Don't breathe. So, yeah. Do all that stuff. As usual. Glenn's going to die now.